The problem with Twitch, buy royalties here. Twitch has many problems. Many problems. So many problems. That website is actually cooked. Besides just financial reasons, you can get banned on there for calling a fat bitch, which is really interesting. Twitch's problem with some Russian guys is crazy. If you know, you know. I don't think so. But yeah, you have terrorist supporters on there. You have Jabba the Hutt on there.
So we all know what Twitch is. No, I'm not referring to your body's primitive reaction when you heard the rumour your parents can see your search history from the internet bit.
My parents could look at my search history and they would find nothing weird about it. Nothing weird.
Bill, don't worry, I heard and believed the same lie growing up, but they never did discover that I was looking up Tomb Raider 1996 boobs. But anyway, Twitch, if you don't know, is a live streaming platform that has existed since 2007, when it was originally named Justin.tv.
Justin.tv? That's terrible. That's terrible. That's actually terrible. Yeah. That website is still cooked. They're not making any money, like, at all. Without Amazon, they would have already, went bankrupt and shut down. If you know, you know.
Justin from Justin.tv. With Justin TV, you can watch, broadcast, and share live video, and chat with other viewers.
But then quickly turned into a place where people would stream things like anime and other shows like 2005's Hell's Kitchen. Those were the days. People were also a lot more openly racist on the platform back then. And Hell's Kitchen would make a return on Twitch in 2018 as a staple for reaction content. But when Justin TV was renamed to Twitch in 2014, around that time it was primarily known for streaming gaming content. I personally remember watching Maya Night Live back then. God, was that a time to be alive. But in the same year the platform was bought by the man with a hairline of steel, Jeff Bezos, or Amazon.
That did not save the company financially. It just didn't. It still doesn't. That company, Twitch, makes no money. It just is the infinite void of, I cannot make money.
For 970 million. And things went from there. Twitch got a complete makeover, and it was no longer known as just a niche platform for streaming games. It gradually grew more popular over the years, to the point where in current times, most people don't get the old references from Twitch, like Forcing CD, Forcing Boys, The Two of Wives, Use the Shovel Soda, PVC, Where the Fuck I Am,
Where the I am.
Shroud has a fat cock.
Word on the street is that you got a fat cock.
Lord rest his soul, Billy Harrington, and using the actual syntax for emotes in vocal and social conversations. Remember Pepe Hands, Pepe Sad, Omega Lol, and Pog?
There he is again, the face of racism, xenophobia, and white supremacy. The depressed frog. Look at his aura.
Spelled P-O-G, not the other way. Nobody says any of that anymore. And if you remember a single one of those references, you've probably already started contributing to that 401k, buddy. You old fuck. And if you don't...
I know Pog, but I'm not that old. I'm just 24. What do you mean? What? I'm not old. I'm still young.
remember him? Here's some Minecraft parkour gameplay. I know I have to jingle the keys every now and again just to keep your attention, but more people found Twitch. It absolutely exploded in 2020 due to COVID, where people for the first time discovered the beauty of watching streams and maybe even starting their own. And in the present day, you now have a whole host of content and personalities on the platform. You didn't even have to stream games anymore. In fact, most streamers on Twitch don't even...
Fun fact, the platform itself did not particularly grow because more people found it. The platform did grow because more content creators migrated to it as well. That's just the truth. Twitch is not a platform where you can grow an audience. Twitch is a platform where you can gather your audience and interact with them. The only thing that could kick them in their ass eventually is if YouTube makes their streaming experience better, and that's really just the chat. If the chat gets better, Twitch is done for.
Touch games. They just react to YouTube's slop for a few hours, like police body cam footage. But Twitch, like every platform, has its fair share of problems. The doomers wishing their Amazon overlords had never acquired it, and it should go back to just being about games. You've got people that are just in general disgusted by the platform due to some of the content on it.
Me, I'm never streaming on that platform. I'm dying before I stream on that platform. I morally do not agree with you. I don't want to stream on your platform. It will never happen. Because, first of all, Twitch thoughts. Nah, I'm good. I don't care. Leave me alone. I don't want to see your dirty old fanny through a glass chair. I don't want to. Thank you. Second of all, you have a bunch of people that are completely nuts, schizophrenic, a group of people, Hassan and his orbiters, absolutely nuts. And your owner, your CEO, is the greatest coomer on the planet. I'm good. I think YouTube really just needs that chat. If YouTube gets that chat, superior, easily, then why isn't YouTube doing that? Twitch is their competitor, isn't it? So why not? Because they're not. I don't know why they're not doing it. I guess they're just retarded.
Like the supposed streaming boober meta, and the fact the platform is more political than it has ever been, with many expressing Twitch has a bias when it comes to certain Twitch streamers.
Yeah. The booba meta. The booba meta. I remember when Marina completely exploited the new Twitch rules and streamed her entire, actually him, I'm calling him a dude, I don't care, streamed his entire thing, his entire model naked. I remember that. And yeah, the booba meta. Oh yeah, but you can't show VTuber hips, that's too much. But cameras up your dirty little fanny. Yep, that works.
Bro, we're never beating the Hassan runs Twitch allegations after this. This is crazy. Oh my god.
And the Twitch CEO may be a gooner himself. Which, you know, fair play, as long as the wife knows. Recently you've got suspected viewbotting, which started a whole kerfuffle. But Twitch has a lot of problems.
Yeah, but the viewbotting's like this. The viewbotting is also viewers botting the streamer. That can also happen. That has happened before.
But what else are you going to use to watch live streams? Fucking YouTube? It's probably easier to find the Ark of the Covenant than somebody streaming on YouTube. Except from the most obvious people that do stream on YouTube. Or maybe Kick, that has the reputation of harbouring all the controversial streamers that are banned on every other platform. Or maybe some would prefer the rigor mortis-ridden corpse that is Mixer. And I'm not even going to mention LiveLeak, but I think the first live streaming platform to implement semen racing.
It's been years since I heard the name Mixer. It's been actually years.
Will have my undivided attention. But I've been on Twitch for a while, and today I wanted to talk about the problems and common critiques it faces, and answer the question if the platform truly deserves it.
Thank you so much for the sub. Oh my... Let me put you on the chalkboard.
So probably the most prominent problem and loudest critique you will hear about Twitch is regarding some of the content on the platform. And by that I mean the content that is mainly within the just chatting or the hot tub section of Twitch, which the latter section was created due to the fact people hated that this was being put on the platform, and people started throwing...
Yeah, it shouldn't be there. This stuff shouldn't be there. If you want this stuff on the platform, go 18 plus. Now you won't do that because it scares away advertisers. But kids should not have access to that. And kids do have access to that. That should not be on the same platform. It's hard finding live streams here. Yeah. But if they do get at least it does have an algorithm. Regardless, at least it does have an algorithm. Twitch does not.
Throwing their shit at Twitch for it, because some of the streamers were taking it a bit too far, so Twitch responded by creating a whole section for it. Some of these people now aren't even streaming in a hot tub pool or anything. Why is there a monkey? But the just chatting and hot tub section of Twitch has somewhat of a negative stigma surrounding it due to these categories being used to host suggestive, borderline NSFW content, or as some may say, softcore porn. Many of these
What was she doing?
NSFW content, or as some may say,
What is she doing? Chat, what is she doing? She's holding the microphone at her, or she's just farting into the microphone.
softcore porn. Many of these being female streamers, and the occasional guys doing this just to make fun of the trend.
I got a mogul move for you.
Ew. Ew.
You smell it?
Not yet. I'm trying to, though.
But many put these streams and people under one title, which is something you've all probably heard before, which is ethot, which is used to describe.
It is an ethot, though. It is. I actually use. I use another term. They're just e-horse, nothing more. I'll use it more vitally. They're just OnlyFans and chatterbait streamers that weren't able to catch an audience on both websites.
Things like these female streamers, and is used for people that use their bodies as their primary content to make money or garner attention. But this has been on Twitch for a while, and it's come in many forms over the years. First you had the chalkboard meta.
Thank you so much for the sub. Oh my god, guys. Yes. Let me put you on the chalkboard.
So true. So true. So true. This is so true.
Then the 90% face cam, 10% gameplay meta, then the body painting meta, then the mirror meta, then the transparent chair meta, and the green screen meta, then just straight up being naked and only showing so much so you don't get banned, and then the hot tub meta. There has been a lot of metas over the years to capitalise on this infinite money glitch, many patched over the years.
And some of these bitches, when it no longer works, they become VTubers. Because then they have the new audience to pimp out.
Due to Twitch's updates to their terms of service, some rules Twitch had to walk back themselves due to the fact everybody hated them, especially with the artistic nudity rule. I get how body painting would be considered art, but this, I don't know. I wouldn't correlate this with a Matisse painting, but yeah. But this contributed to what many refer to as the just chatting problem, or more prominently known, the ethot epidemic, where most streams in the
He just straight up says it. He just straight up says it. The ethot epidemic. So true. Powder? Powder! Hey, yo! Didn't expect to see her here. Hello, Powder. Based. Hello, base department. I'm going to, like, shove my head in a concrete ball. The cringe is too much for me. I'll elaborate. Ay, caramba, el cringe.
just chatting or hot tub section are somewhat explicit, suggestive, and some of them do advertise their OnlyFans on there. Now, apart from the obvious problem of a platform that should be safe for kids 13 and up,
Yeah, the ethot streamer into corn pipeline, we know.
with this type of content being shown, some without age verification, and being environments where some come to tenderize their meat instead of the conventional websites, but this would also create a negative stigma for female streamers in general, who got lumped in with these types of streamers where some assume all female streamers are like this, or heaven forbid there is a centimeter of cleavage on screen.
Not all streamers, female streamers like this. But this stuff should still not be on there. And most female streamers probably agree with me. Most.
and they obviously must be doing this intentionally. And unfortunately, this has contributed to a lot of harassment some females face on the platform. Now, do I personally have a problem with these streams? Streams where they are intentionally doing this type of content, fully well knowing what they are doing, with the purpose of monetary gain? Well, I don't think I've ever had interest in watching these types of live streams, which for the most part is borderline just softcore porn for 4 hours, when I can just go to another website which specializes in this type of content, see the whole Dark Souls
Chess.com. Sure.
naked run, and after 2 minutes wallow in self-pity. But hey, some people are there for the personality, and to simulate what it's like to be a cook if they actually had a girlfriend. Or maybe it's something to do with edging, I guess, or maybe just like female attention, whatever reason, I don't relate to it. A lot of the people viewing anyway are from countries where porn is banned, like Turkey, and Twitch is the only way they can have access to it. But there's 3 takes people commonly have going against this type.
Cord is banned in Turkey? What Muslim country? I guess that makes sense.
Of content. One, they blame the streamer themselves, commonly saying they shouldn't be doing this type of content on this platform, and they take advantage of people that are lonely and desperate for monetary gain. 2, they blame the people that are supporting them and actively gooning to their streams, which I think no pep talk in the world will persuade them not to do this, and you're probably going to have to persuade the final boss that is the Twitch CEO himself as well. And 3, blame the platform for hosting this type of...
All 3 are true. All 3 are true. Even if the streamer can do it, he shouldn't. The viewers encourage it, so that's also true. And you can blame Twitch, so it's also true. It's also true.
Of content and not taking action against it. I personally side with the third point, to be honest. Yes, the streamers know what they are doing. Some are constantly trying to push the line till they eventually break the terms of service of Twitch, in which Twitch will probably respond by adding a new rule, and to say no, you cannot deploy something.
It's either a new rule... My cat is eggy. It's either a new rule, or they just, what's the word? Or they just, ban you for 3 days. There was a chick literally getting her back blown out on stream. 3 days ban, back. Tecton calls Frogan a fat bitch. 7 days.
Equivalent to a periscope, just so your viewers can see your ass. And I think at most times they only get a day to a week ban. Many people do defend these types of streams, saying you must be gay if you don't like this, or you must hate women. No, I just don't expect this type of content on a platform that used to be just for gaming. And once again, the age rating is 13+. Like Jackmate, I would expect this, but not
I don't hate women, but I really, really dislike these.
Twitch. But if there's nothing being done about these streams except the occasional ban for a day or two, and some people in the category are brute forcing the Twitch TOS to see what they can get away with, which then other streamers will copy, and then that'll be the meta for the next season, I'm pretty sure it's a...
Yeah, I remember when gambling was a thing. I remember chat, being dumb is okay, being fucking stupid isn't correct.
Platform problem at that point. I mean, the streamer Mogpie that has set the meta for many of these streamers got banned multiple times in the year of 2023, some within the same week, and only got a 2-day
How often can one get banned? How often can one get banned?
ban at most. There did used to be a rule where if you got banned multiple times in the same year, you just get perma-banned off the platform. But to be fair, that obviously doesn't exist anymore, because some of these streamers have been banned numerous times in the same year. Yeah, you can blame the gooners, but they're never gonna stop. You can blame the streamers taking advantage of a money glitch that has yet to be patched or will ever get patched, but at that point I personally think you should be hating the game, not the player. Because what are you going to do? Call them a whore? And then hope they instantly turn to Christianity? And then become a celibate or something? But to their credit, at least some of them do age gate their streams, which is like a band-aid approach, but the platform itself is enabling this.
They may be doing it. They may be doing it, but if a child has unrestricted access to it, it does not really matter.
With poor punishment and not enforcing rules to counter this type of content. But another thing Twitch does get a bad rep for is its moderation itself.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So another common critique of Twitch is that the moderation, or in other words, the actual staff of Twitch, that oversee the platform and are usually involved in tasks like banning or removing users or streamers that go against the terms of service of the platform. And they do this to keep the platform a somewhat safe place. But they do get a lot of shit, especially recently, due to the fact that many claim and believe that Twitch staff are biased to certain streamers, and when it comes to following their own rules and being fair, they are rather inconsistent. But does Twitch deserve this criticism, or is it just completely...
Well, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. If I invite literal terrorists onto my stream, if I did it on YouTube, I can almost guarantee that would get me killed. If I did that. When others do that on Twitch, totally okay. When they say, soldiers should get PTSD, totally okay. If I'm a great apologist, totally okay. As long as I agree with, Twitch.
unfounded? Well, the fact I'm fucking talking about it means there's some contention to that point, you dumbass. Whilst Twitch does not publicly talk about their banning decisions, and there has been one recorded event of a Twitch staff getting involved for their own benefit, I can see why people think there is a bias based on reoccurring
There is the bias, 100%.
patterns, like the inconsistency with bans. Some people like to use the example recently that occurred with the streamer Extra Emily, whose content is similar to that of an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Okay. Yes?
This is a family establishment. You're not allowed to cook crack in the parking lot.
Oh, I'm cooking steak.
Wait, Extra Emily? That is crazy. They think she's cooking crack in the... That is crazy. That is crazy, bro. Nah. That was on Twitter. Probably a bot.
But pretty entertaining. But a lot of streamers get in trouble for streaming whilst driving, mainly due to the fact they look at their phone whilst driving to look at their chat, which is obviously dangerous. But Extra Emily didn't even do that. She was messing with her camera whilst driving and flips the camera at the exact time she runs a red light and basically self-reports herself. But obviously this was dangerous and against the law, potentially shows she was distracted whilst driving. And then after it happens, she gives the excuse that this happens all the time and that these lights take a while to turn or something.
That happens all the time. In Austin, you know, like, the stoplights here.
I think people that use their phones or cameras or anything like that, I'm gonna say it, you should be punished to hell and back for endangering others in traffic. Simple. It's definitely California. Only a Karen California can think they could approach something cooking crack and survive.
Are really long.
But as a result of this, she only received a 1-day ban. And then to her credit, when she returned, turned her next stream into a learning experience where she completed a driving school. But she did get banned for looking at her phone in 2023 for 3 days, but for this time only a day. But after the latest ban, people were quick to point out the ban should have been much longer. Even people like Stable Ronaldo voicing their opinion. Someone who had been banned for reckless driving 10 months prior for 3 days after going over a speed bump too fast to the point where the car lifted up in the air. And he thought she should have been banned for the same amount of time he was.
Said, I'm running this red light, but when I hit a pothole going the speed limit...
don't give a fuck.
I hit a pothole, by the way, chat, I hit a pothole with Adapt, going the speed limit. It wasn't even a pothole, it was a speed bump. So my car went like this, and then...
Possibly woman bonus, I have no idea. Probably not, but still. They are in general very inconsistent with bans. That's just what it is. It just is what it is. They are super inconsistent with that.
All of a sudden, I'm banned for a week. is the dumbest shit I've ever seen. She deserves to get banned for over a fucking month.
This and other instances, like when Pokimane pulled up the hub by accident live on stream.
Wait, we saw this, right?
And only got a warning for it, compared to when Foursome pulled up a gif of the famous horse, also by accident but got banned for a whole month, which has...
Okay, now it's getting more so, now I'm getting curious if it is woman bias. A little bit. Because how can you do the same things but get banned for differently long? That's weird. When Pirate Software Cope saying only a week, only a day bans are not nothing, but Twitch does this and keeps paying out these users. No, it is in fact flash tubing women bias. That could be very yeah. Remember, you can't sit on a glass chair with a camera up your dirty old fanny. But don't you dare show hips. If you share hips, you should die.
Has led to a lot of people believing that Twitch are more lenient when it comes to female streamers, more than their male counterparts. The main comment being Twitch staff are simps, which at this point this argument has been occurring for like 5 years now, due to Twitch's confusing banning process, where ban durations seem to differ for the same rule being broken, and they also bring up the...
I also think you cannot call them simps. Apparently. As far as I'm aware. In their own TOS. I could be wrong.
Point I discussed earlier, where some streamers in the just chatting section only get banned for a day for sexually explicit content, and some banned multiple times within the same week. But once again, there is no concrete evidence Twitch has a bias towards gender, due to the fact they do not advertise information regarding bans, or the banning process. But there are past events that have showed Twitch staff have involved themselves personally in the streaming environment and have even offered advantages to some streamers. A key example being Hassan. Not the Hassan you're thinking of, but he was a former member of the Twitch team and was the director of strategic partnerships. But in 2020 it came out that he had been accused of sexual misconduct and abuse of power. Launched by the streamer VO, and then later other female streamers who expressed the same situation with the same...
So yeah, exploited female streamers for sexual favors. Possibly. Interesting. I remember Hassan 7 day for one of his terror comments. Asmongold 1 month for... Yeah, it was his racial comments. Very true. They do not broadcast data. Homie, the platform is public. We can prove it ourselves. Very true. Guys, I think that might have been an actual rigger that thought I was a streamer. She was actual people who she made models for. Yeah, could be. Well, you're cooked.
Staff member, it was claimed that he leveraged his role at Twitch, where he would promise things like perks and promotional items in return for sexual favors. Sexual favors he would still conduct even when the other party was saying no. He also shared explicit images to other people without consent and disclosed confidential Twitch information, in which an internal investigation by Twitch was launched, and he was subsequently removed from his role, but he faced no legal repercussions. Obviously not all Twitch staff are like this. This is a single person, but at the time this event...
Pretty simple. The streamers don't face any repercussions. Well, the people there also don't. The people that work there also don't face any legal repercussions. Pretty normal around here.
Was used as a main point that Twitch staff do get personally involved and do have a bias, when they're supposed to be the complete opposite. But another point that people use that Twitch staff are biased is within the political sphere of Twitch. Yes, over the years, politics on the Twitch platform has grown significantly. It's not hard to find most streamers nowadays sticking their wrinkly, depraved toe into the political pool to give their opinion on the state of politics, in which I promptly click off the stream because it's not bedtime yet, and as I've said before, explaining politics to me is like giving me a lethal dose of NyQuil. But to some people's dismay, politics has been thriving on the Twitch platform.
Yep. And who would have thought that Asmongold would at one point be the #1 political streamer and also one of the most watched streamers on Twitch? and make Hassan very, very jelly.
For a while now, you have Hassan, previously Destiny, everyone's favourite cockroach king Asmongold, where some people are no longer interested in WoW gameplay and just want him to talk about politics. And you also have streamers like... yeah, I don't know that many political streamers. I'm only here for the gameplay and slop reaction.
I mean, technically, Frogan is one of them. Denims is one of them. Somehow I'm blocked by Denims. I don't know how I did that. I'm also blocked by, who was it? Idub's wife. I don't know how I did that. I never interacted with her. I guess because I'm constantly calling him a cuck. I guess that just happens. Interesting.
But especially recently, politics has started a fiery war on the platform. And believe me, you cannot escape it. It is everywhere, and has lasted almost a year now. It's basically a blood gulch skirmish at this point. You have Hassan versus H3 versus iDubbbz for some reason, versus Asmongold versus Hassan's friends or something, versus Twitch itself.
Somewhere there's Tectone missing, because Tectone also got involved somehow. And owning those frauds. Nuxtaku got also involved. It is crazy. But yeah, the Frogan and Tectone beef is generational.
But basically, everyone is throwing their shit at everyone, and some people believe Twitch has had a big hand in it, and as a result has led to their own YouTube adpocalypse of sorts. But what is this whole drama about? I don't fucking know. Wrong channel. I'm a political infant at this point. I'm probably going to load up Rust to learn my 3x3 has been fucking raided after this. But why is Twitch...
I think it's very simple to summarize. People are calling on Twitch for supporting people that support terrorism. That's really what it is. And the problem gets solved if Twitch kicks out the people that do this.
Twitch being brought up in this situation? Well, once again, they were accused of being biased towards other streamers based on their political beliefs. And again, their banning system being very inconsistent. People thought that the Twitch staff had a bias towards streamers like Hassan, who on stream said killing one US senator would solve a problem.
Cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott, okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida Rick Scott.
And people were outraged he only received a day ban for this. And people think for what...
A day? A day? A day? Just a day? I also remember that people did not receive a ban for saying anything close to, you know, deleting the current president of the United States. Right, Tricky Wee? I still remember. And you did lose subs.
What he has done, he should have been banned longer, due to the fact other streamers get banned a lot longer for things others view as less significant as this. Many using VTubers getting banned for like 2 weeks as an example. And some people use the fact that the Twitch team and CEO have publicly wished Hassan a personal happy birthday. And it's uncommon for them to do this, so people use this as evidence.
Yeah, bro's running that show. That is crazy. That is crazy. Twitch employees? Yeah, you're not beating the allegations. So true.
Evidence that they must have a bias towards Hassan himself or certain political beliefs.
Birthday to you.
What the fuck?
Happy birthday to you.
The most rabid Redditors just clipped this and they're going to use this permanently.
People use this as evidence. I hate this modern propensity of equivocate words. Shock people use evidence as evidence of evidence. Very true. Yes, I mean it's true. I think royalty just tries to not be too biased, I would assume.
They'd be like, see, I told you, he's got banning powers.
Asmongold going as far to say the team is compromised after things...
One day, 3 minutes? What was it?
Banning powers.
Asmongold...
1 day, 3 minutes and 12 seconds. That's 3 minutes and 12 seconds longer than I thought.
Going as far to say the team is compromised after things like another streamer who seemingly has the same political takes Hassan does, never got banned for essentially putting a 30k bounty on Asman's head. But some do see this.
Just what the fuck are you doing? Putting a bounty on somebody's head? You should not be on the platform. This dumb bitch shouldn't be on the platform. I'm just gonna straight up say it. She shouldn't be here.
As a joke.
Well, on Twitch, not here on YouTube, but on Twitch.
30k to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both.
Twitch's moderation and Twitch's team, I think, is compromised. I think that they're biased, and I think that they don't have any principles at all other than responding to controversies.
But Twitch moderation obviously has a problem with consistency, and I think the criticism they receive, especially regarding their banning process, is completely valid. I think people that break their terms of service should be banned promptly, fairly, and given a duration in accordance with the weight of what they have done. The banning process all in all doesn't make any sense. Some streamers get banned for longer when they did something on the same level or even less serious than the other streamer, so of course people are going to think Twitch has a bias, or just an extremely incompetent staff team. So the last
oh yeah, view building. And the Asman to send it there. I think they don't have any principles. I don't think that. I know that they do not have any principles. Yeah, true.
problem I wanted to talk about is viewbotting. And if you don't know what that is, it is basically fake viewers, mainly used to inflate the views on a Twitch stream. Many other platforms face the same issue. I think even Kick had a problem with it, but all you had to do was open the stream on multiple tabs, and
viewers can also open unlimited tabs! On Kick, that's wild. Infinite viewers.
Each tab would count as a viewer, but you can pay certain websites to increase your viewership or someone else's, so it makes it look like you have more viewers than you actually do. Now, viewbotting, like many of the other topics I've talked about in this video, is hard to prove. Probably the only way to get 100% concrete evidence somebody is viewbotting is either if they admit to it, or the provider of the bots shows they were bought and told to target said streams. But there are other things people look at to see if people...
Yeah, you can also look at, like, messages, right? If, like, one sends an emote and then just, like, others send the same emotes, spam the same emotes. You can also look at, viewership. If there's a unnatural jump, then you can also tell there might be viewbotting. Chat velocity, yep.
Viewbotting. Mainly they look at viewer engagement. Mainly if somebody has 50,000 people watching them and the chat is moving like a snail with arthritis, either most of the viewers are like Helen Keller, or they may be under suspicion they are using bots, because most bots do not interact with the stream like a normal chatter would. Now, why is viewbotting bad on the Twitch platform? Well, it can be used against streamers. For example, if you apply to be a partner on Twitch, and you finally hit the required viewers, if Twitch thinks some of those are bots, they will deny your partner application.
That's also apparently for sponsored streams where you get a certain amount of money for like that many viewers watching for an hour. Like per viewer per hour. And you can use that to trick the system. You shouldn't, but you can.
And in some cases even ban you, so it can be potentially used to remove somebody off the platform. Bots can also be used for things like hate raids, going into someone's Twitch chat and spamming messages or racial slurs. I think even recently a Twitch game show had to switch Twitch channels due to the fact their stream was being inflated with view bots, which you would think is a good thing. I personally would spam the add button and hope the view bots don't have ad block, but they basically had around 100,000 viewers and the chat was basically comatose. So to prevent allegations of viewbotting themselves and potentially getting banned, they switched the channel. And you've also had streamers accusing other streamers of viewbotting, specifically the top echelons of Twitch, where XQC was accusing Kai Sennett's associates of viewbotting. due to the fact that they had a high viewer count but low subscribers and low viewer engagement, and most of the people watching were not logged in, and this caused a bunch of drama and commotion because it is a serious accusation, and if in some way it is proven to be true, your streaming career might be
cooked. Yeah. Sometimes it's also just, other people viewballing. That also happens. The thing is, you can't really do something against that. What are you gonna do about it? If somebody goes and says, yo, I'm gonna viewbot you.
over. Nobody is gonna let you live that down. But obviously, once again, it's very hard to prove, and some of the viewers may have not just been logged in, or sourced from external websites through things like embedded.
Yeah, you can literally look at other websites that works. I, for one, stand the rise of Kaisena and Azure Speed. I did not expect to say that, but they have won me over. I mean, they're both entertaining, and I mean, Kaisena does put effort into his streams, especially, the whole Elden Ring thing. I think that's where he won me over. For Speed, I don't know. He's just not my style because he's like very like over the top and stuff. I don't like that kind of energy, but he's still entertaining according to a lot of people, so yeah.
Streams which are very annoying back in the day, especially when I was trying to find a Warwick jungle build and somebody's stream just pops up on the bottom left, which just because you're on that website does count to them as a viewer, and was previously used to inflate people's viewership. But what can Twitch do about this as a platform? Well, they have been legally taking down bot provider websites, which are very easy to find apparently, and not cheap, but they also purge accounts which are suspected to be bots. But it is a problem that is very hard to counter, and it can seriously affect streamers on the platform.
Gee, that wasn't so awful.
So in conclusion, Twitch does have a lot of problems. Some of its content doesn't match the environment Twitch is said to have, and its banning system leaves a lot to be desired.
Not just the banning system, it's also the algorithm. You cannot use... If you can dual stream, do so if you really want to stream on Twitch. If you don't want to stream on... If you want to grow an audience on Twitch, don't. Go to use YouTube. If you want to grow an audience, use YouTube. Twitch algorithm is dog shit. It has no algorithm. Its algorithm is from 1998. It has no algorithm. Whoever is in the top corner gets the most views. That's just what it is. Crazy. I just won me over because people expected him to go by route of Johnny Somali when he announced he was going on a big trip, and his experience is totally the opposite. Properly respectful and reverent. So it kind of showed to me like he can the clown mode on and off. He can turn the clown mode on and off. Yeah, true. He can do that.
I do think they need to start explaining in detail why they have banned someone, and more detail around the process, especially determining the length of the ban. But at the current
Hot take. I think that you should be any platform, doesn't matter which one, any platform should have a legal obligation to provide reasons as to why you were banned. That should be a law. Not gonna lie.
time, with somewhat of an arbitrary banning system, it has rightfully led to a lot of criticism, and Twitch does have a view botting problem that can be used to target streamers and inflate numbers for others, but I think Twitch is doing the best they can to counter that problem. I think Twitch is still a good platform. It has changed from its original design, but it still hosts a lot of entertaining people and innovative content. I'm probably going to go learn my base has been code locked now, but yeah, that's all I wanted to say, and bye-bye.
That is pretty much the end of the video. I can't say much except that the platform does have a huge issue right now. And I wonder if Amazon is ever going to drop it, to be fair. At this point. Probably never. But it would be interesting to see where these people go. I mean, even Asmongold himself said that he much rather now wants to also focus on YouTube and because he considers YouTube more important. But yeah, we'll see how this is going to develop, if they're actually going to change things or if they're just going to continue the way they do.